Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 1 of September 2024. The largest foreign direct investment proposal in financial services in the country, involving the biggest banks in Japan and India by market capitalization, is now dead. The board of HDFC Bank on Wednesday rejected a proposal of $2 billion purchase of a 20% stake in non-banking subsidiary HDB Financial Services by Japan's Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group, the world's second largest bank holding company. Instead, the board endorsed a plan to proceed with HDB's listing to comply with the Reserve Bank of India's regulations. Adani Power Limited's resolution plan to acquire Lanco's Amarkantak Power Limited has been approved by the Hyderabad bench of NCLT. Adani Power intends to pay Rs 4,101 crore to take over the distressed company, which has admitted liabilities of Rs 15,633 crore. Lenders to the bankrupt airline Go First have enlisted Burford Capital, a US-based litigation finance firm, to support their arbitration case against engine manufacturer Pratt & Whitney. The creditors' committee has approved a first tranche payment of $20 million from Burford. Go First is claiming $1.5 billion in compensation at the Singapore Court of Arbitration, attributing its bankruptcy to Pratt & Whitney's engine failures. Although litigation finance is common in parts of the world, it remains relatively unknown in India. Go First owes around Rs 4,000 crore to major banks while also holding a valuable land parcel as collateral. Book My Show, the leader in India's entertainment ticketing market, could face intense competition from Zomato, which is acquiring Paytm's ticketing business for Rs 2,048 crore and plans to build it into company's third main consumer vertical. Book My Show, which posted nearly Rs 1,000 crore in fiscal 2023 revenue and is profitable, will try to protect its market share by using its clout with suppliers and other stakeholders and leveraging exclusive contracts with multiplex chains, event organizers, sporting bodies, artists, and theatre companies, among others. SEBI has issued a new cybersecurity and cyber resilience framework for regulated entities. The framework is broadly based on two approaches: cybersecurity and cyber resilience. The cybersecurity approach covers various aspects from governance measures to operational controls, and the cyber resilience goals including anticipating, withstanding, containing, recovering, and evolving. This framework will supersede the previous cybersecurity circulars and guidelines for SEBI-regulated entities. The Directorate General of Goods and Services Tax Intelligence has dropped a tax demand of about Rs 3,000 crore for 2017-18 against 18 foreign shipping companies operating in the country. The move brings cheer to foreign shipping lines who are facing notices for non-payment of goods and services tax on import of services from July 2017 onwards. The tax demand was dropped after the shipping companies gave a joint undertaking that there was no import of services in 2017-18. However, the tax demand for subsequent years will stay. The United States emerged as India's leading trading partner in early 2024, although the country experienced a record trade deficit of $41.6 billion with China. India's merchandise exports increased by 5.41%, led by sectors such as iron ore and pharmaceuticals, while services exports grew by 6.9% to $178.2 billion. In a landmark ruling, the SEBI has barred industrialist Anil Ambani and 24 other entities from participating in the securities market for 5 years. The action comes after SEBI uncovered a fraudulent scheme involving the diversion of funds from Reliance Home Finance Limited. Anil Ambani, along with key managerial person of Reliance Home Finance Limited, were found guilty of executing a complex scheme to siphon off funds from the company. SEBI has imposed a penalty of Rs 25 crore on Ambani and has also prohibited him from holding any directorial or managerial roles in the listed companies or any intermediaries registered with SEBI for 5 years. In addition, Reliance Home Finance itself has been barred from the securities market for 6 months and fined Rs 6 lakh. SEBI has notified an amendment to the SEBI Research Analyst Regulations 2014. A new regulation 15A pertaining to fees has been inserted. As per the newly inserted norms, a research analyst must be entitled to charge fees for providing research services from a client, including an accredited investor, in the manner as specified by the board. These amended norms shall come into force from the date of their publication in the official gazette, that is August 19, 2024. The Audit Quality Maturity Model, or AQMM, is a cross-functional evaluation model developed with an objective to enable audit firms to evaluate their current level of audit maturity and also to identify areas where competencies needs to be strengthened. Earlier on 12 July 2024, the ICAI released a notification wherein it asked its members to provide their feedback on the exposure draft of this second version of AQMM. Considering all those feedback, the Council of ICAI has now, through its announcement dated 22nd August 2024, approved the AQMM version 2. As a core investment company that borrows funds from banks and markets to invest in group companies, Tata Sons was classified by the RBI as an NBFC upper layer in September 2022. Under the RBI regulations, an NBFC upper layer must be listed within 3 years of such a categorization. But with the promoter risk profile reducing drastically following the debt repayment, Tata Sons is no longer required to list its stock, having offered to surrender its certificate of registration to the central bank. India is considering a plan to allow full fungibility between foreign portfolio investment, or FPI, and foreign direct investment, or FDI, in sectors where 74% or more FDI is allowed. Currently, an FPI or an investor group can hold only up to 10% equity in a listed company. More than 10% is allowed through FDI. The fungibility would allow individuals the freedom to freely manage investments. Even portfolio investors can pick up more than 10% stake in a company. Foreign investment is classified under different buckets and faces different regulations. Temasek Singapore Sovereign Wealth Fund is in advanced talks to lead a $100 to $150 million investment in Rebel Foods, the parent company of brands such as Fasos and Behroz Biryani. Started in 2011 by Jaydeep Burman and Kalol Banerjee, the company plans to go public in the coming 1 to 2 years. The Department of Telecommunications has indicated that apps like WhatsApp and Telegram will not be regulated under the new Telecommunications Act, despite telecom companies' push for such measures. The Act is aimed primarily at licensed telecom operators, and future guidance on app regulation may come from the Ministry of Electronics and IT. To assist taxpayers in correctly reporting reverse charge mechanism, or RCM transactions, a new statement called RCM liability or ITC statement has been introduced on the GST portal. This statement will enhance accuracy and transparency for RCM transactions by capturing the RCM liability shown in Table 3.1D of GSTR 3B and its corresponding input tax credit claimed in Table 4A2 and 4A3 of GSTR 3B for a return period. This statement will be applicable from tax period August 2024 onwards for monthly filers and from the quarter July to September 2024 period for quarterly filers. The RCM liability or ITC statement can be accessed using the navigation, services, under ledger, under RCM liability or ITC statement. Apple's ecosystem in India is expected to spawn as many as 600,000 jobs by this fiscal end, reflecting the runaway expansion in operations of the iPhone maker in the country in its efforts to diversify production from China. Apple's Indian workforce will comprise 200,000 direct jobs being created by March end, with women making up a dominant 70% according to estimates and data submitted by the company as well as its suppliers to the government. Tata-owned Big Basket, the largest e-grocer known for slotted deliveries, is set to become a full-scale quick commerce platform as the expanding sector sees rising demand for rapid deliveries, blurring the divide with horizontal e-commerce platforms. The move marks a key shift in strategy for the firm that started in 2011 and has seen several cycles of hyper-funded grocery models emerge during the past decade. After months of discussion, the National Financial Reporting Authority or NFRA on Monday decided to move towards the International Standard of Audit 600 ISA 600 for all listed companies barring public sector companies and state-run banks and their branches. Separately, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India also agreed to revise the Standard on Quality Management (SQM), a mechanism for quality management for audits or reviews of financial statements where public consultations have been completed. ICAI will now share the paper with NFRA for further action. Ever since Satyam exposed how a company could fabricate liabilities and cash balances, auditors have been writing to banks to cross-check the key numbers of corporates they vet. Now, after 15 years, this manual process will be replaced by an online and a more foolproof reporting mechanism to minimize the risk of number tampering. Beginning next month, companies would be nudged to give consent to bankers and auditors for uploading the information of funds lying in multiple bank accounts as well as borrowings from different financial institutions on a new platform that is being set up by the National E-Governance Services, the information utility registered with the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. Taiwanese electronics manufacturer Foxconn is being offered 2,000 acres of land in Telangana to build a Foxconn city, modeled on its facilities in its home country as well as in China. Telangana has offered as yet unidentified location to Foxconn, but other states are also aggressively courting the company. The passenger car industry is facing a decline in wholesale volumes for the first time in 30 months, with August expected to see 2.5 to 3% drop year-on-year. Rising inventory and a lack of attractive new models are contributing to this downturn. The sector is projected to dispatch around 350,000 to 355,000 units, down from 359,000 units in August 2023. Despite nearly 24 new SUV models launching, experts anticipate limited impact on overall sales. A recovery is expected in October with the festive season. The GSTN has issued an update to inform that the taxpayers will not be able to furnish GSTR 1 or IFF, as the case may be, without furnishing the details of a valid bank account in the registration details on the GST portal for the tax period August 2024 onwards. Aditya Birla Group promoted Ultratech Cement has secured a $500 million sustainability-linked loan with participation from 6 banks. This is the second sustainability-linked financing raised by Ultratech. The company secured its inaugural $400 million sustainability-linked bond issuance in 2021. MO Alternate Investment Advisors, the alternative investment arm of Motilal Oswal Financial Services, is investing Rs 330 crore to acquire a 25% stake in Lal Sweets, a Bengaluru-based maker of packaged sweets and other food items. The company sells a variety of products including Indian sweets, bakery items and select savory snacks. Godrej Enterprises Group plans to invest around Rs 4,000 crore to streamline its 14 verticals and boost its consumer-first and nation-first businesses. This includes enhancing its real estate holdings in Mumbai and building its furniture brand Interior into a lifestyle label while focusing on organizational agility and performance. The GST Council is scheduled to meet on September 9th to explore the rationalization of GST rates. According to Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, while the meeting will review the current rate structure, no decisions on rate changes will be made at this time. The results will be referred to the group of ministries for further review. The government is set to examine concerns over quick commerce companies potentially undermining businesses of local kirana stores, particularly in the context of the draft Digital Competition Bill. The Ministry of Consumer Affairs recently raised the issue with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs during discussions around the proposed legislation. Food delivery giant Zomato has launched Zomato for Enterprise, a new platform aimed at simplifying corporate food expense management. Zomato for Enterprise allows employees to charge their business-related food orders directly to their employers, streamlining the reimbursement process. The platform provides companies with tools to manage budgets, set ordering rules, and monitor expenses. Reliance Industries' entertainment arm Viacom18 and Walt Disney Company's Indian media assets on Wednesday received Competition Watchdog Competition Commission of India's approval of their $8.5 billion merger. Singapore Airlines has secured approval from the Indian government for its foreign direct investment as part of the merger between Vistara and Air India. The merger, announced in November 2022, aims to create a dominant full-service airline. Singapore Airlines will hold 25.1% stake in the combined entity, expecting completion by the end of 2024. Quick commerce firm Zepto has raised another $340 million from new investors General Catalyst, Mars Growth Capital, and Epic Capital and others, taking the total funds it raised in the past 2 months to $1 billion. After this funding, Zepto's valuation has jumped to $5 billion. In a year, Zepto's valuation has grown 3.5 times, aided by the growth of the rapid delivery business and a rush of capital in the sector. The company raised $665 million at a $3.6 billion post-money valuation in June. In August 2023, it turned a unicorn after having raised $200 million, after which it was valued at $1.4 billion. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has officially released the admit cards for the upcoming Chartered Accountancy Foundation and Intermediate exams scheduled for September 2024. Candidates who have registered for these exams can now download their hall tickets from the ICAI's e-services portal. The Central Board of Direct Taxes has instructed its officials to create a new database of charitable institutions to track their registration status under different provisions of the Income Tax Act. The intent is to eliminate discrepancies in tax filings and claims of exemption. The Adani Group has infused about Rs 2,000 crore in the Dharavi redevelopment project, the largest slum redevelopment initiative in Asia, which covers 640 acres in Mumbai. The Dharavi redevelopment project is a joint venture between Gautam Adani's Adani Group and the Maharashtra government. As the lead partner, Adani is responsible for constructing residential and commercial units for the project. The group won the bid for the project in 2022 and received final approval last year. Reliance Jio's introduction of 100 GB of free cloud storage could disrupt the dominance of Google One and iCloud in India. Jio's offer is set to challenge the current pricing models of Google One, which is at Rs 130 for 100 GB, and iCloud, which is at Rs 75 for 50 GB, potentially prompting these services to reduce their prices. This move is part of a broader trend where Indian companies like Ola are competing with Western giants by adopting local solutions, which has already led to significant price reductions in services like Google Maps. Market regulator Securities and Exchange Board of India has changed the criteria for entry and exit of stocks in the derivatives segment. Under the new rules, the regulator has raised the median quarter sigma order size over the previous 6 months on a rolling basis by 3 times to Rs 75 lakhs from the existing Rs 25 lakhs, citing that the average market turnover is now over 3.5 times the figure during the last review. The government has notified the Securities Contracts Regulation Amendment Rules 2024. As per the amended norms, the applicant companies desirous of getting their securities listed on a recognized stock exchange in an international financial services center are now required to offer at least 10% of their equity shares or convertible debentures to the public, irrespective of the post-issue capital. Prices of active pharmaceutical ingredients or APIs have been declining over the past several months, boosting the margins of drug manufacturers. However, many industry insiders attribute this to a predatory pricing strategy by Chinese companies, and they believe that stability in prices is still a long way off. The Revenue Department in the Finance Ministry has formed a panel headed by V.K. Gupta, Chief Commissioner of Income Tax, to simplify the decades-old IT Act. In its preliminary discussions, the panel focused on rationalizing exemptions, raising the computation methods to global standards, and making the appeal system less cumbersome. During discussions over the past few days and supervised by the Central Board of Direct Taxes Chairman Ravi Agarwal, it emerged that more than 90 sections of the 1961 law have lost their relevance. This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.